Hey everybody, so I'm doing this one in my vehicular transportation because I want to. I don't want to hear anything about how it's unsafe because it's not. It's the same as having somebody sitting in my passenger seat. I don't pay attention to the camera, I pay attention to the road. So what I want to talk about though is, well, it's a couple of things. So first of all, I've avoided bringing this up, and because of that, I haven't made any videos in the last couple of weeks. But something I said on one of my videos about an obese cop found somebody in my real life who disagrees and took quite a bit of offense to what I said. And well, I haven't changed my perspective. I would like to clarify it a little. I don't have a problem with fat people. Everybody's got something, right? You know? I'm bald. Some people are fat. I'm short. I'm skinny, you know? And it's not a judgment of the people being fat. What my issue is that the position of being a cop allegedly is to provide public safety and to protect people against wrongdoers, right? And so most wrongdoers are not obese. And if we're expecting a group of people to be in charge of protecting us from others, then that group of people should be fit enough to protect us without resorting to deadly force. That's the problem, is that somebody who weighs 400 pounds can't chase somebody, and the likelihood that they will resort to deadly force is astronomically increased. So I think I lost my job over my video, and you know, if that's the way it is, so be it. I wish that hadn't been the case, because I enjoyed doing what I did, but at the same time, I think we're at a precipice here, and words really need to be spoken without shrouding them due to social pressures. I won't stay silent because of social pressures. So if that causes me to lose my job, if that causes whatever, so be it. I would rather be poor than be silent. Another thing, so I forget what the other thing is. I mean, we are, like I said, at a precipice, and here's what it is. We can't keep depending on others, on the same system that has caused the problems to solve those problems. What I mean is, anytime I see a mention of Epstein, or you name it, whatever the issue is, the immediate follow-up to that is, I wish they'd do something about it. I wish they would, press charges. I wish they would arrest them. They should be arrested. Who the fuck do you think is committing these crimes, dude? It's the people that would be doing the arresting that are committing the crimes. So, I mean, you're asking them to arrest themselves. That's insanity. That's pure insanity. It's our job. It's our job. You don't see that? It's our job to arrest them. And not only that, it's our right to do so. If you keep living your life by what limits tyrannical groups set for you, of course they're going to set a limit that says you can't do anything about our corruption. Of course they will. You got to say, fuck that. I'm going to do something about it. Okay? They don't own us. They'd like you to believe that they do, but then also not see that they do. But they don't. you are your own person. I am my own person. And you know what? We, as our own people, have a far, far, far stronger resolve than do they. And it's so ignorant that people just continue to fall back on, oh, well, I wish the same system that caused these problems would hurry up and solve these problems. They don't want those solved because to them, it's not problems. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? And another thing with my job, so I was told that I am anti-cop and that the person who was speaking to me is largely pro-cop outside of what's happening with ICE. Okay, I mean, I think that we agree, but I think that words are getting in the way. Because what you want is to be protected by the government that you pay to do so, right? That's what I want. I actually don't. I don't want the government to protect me. But if they're going to force me to give them my money and say that in exchange for that money, they will protect me, then I expect them to do so. Okay, I'd rather protect myself. But, so, by that metric, I am not anti-cop. I am anti-corruption. I don't like when an organization takes my money, most of it, and says, hey, in exchange for this which we are stealing from you, we will protect you. And then they just don't. They don't. They hire people who are too incompetent or too unhealthy or too psychopathic to actually do that job. Okay, so yes, I am pro what they see as the job of police. I'm pro that, but that's not what's being done. That hasn't been done since at least 2001. Okay, what's been done is a soft and slow takeover of the American people, beginning with our will. It wasn't a forceful takeover. It was they took over your will and your autonomy, and they made you fear the air. They made you fear everything. They made you fear everything outside of your body, and then they sold you the cure. Okay, that's how you own somebody. That's how you enslave somebody, is you say, without us, you will die. But with us, we have that which will save you. And all you got to do is agree with us. It's that easy. So, what I've come to realize is that the word simulation is the wrong one to use because it doesn't really explain what this is, but for lack of a better term, this is a simulation. And the reason nothing changes for the better is because you can't convince anybody of anything because of the fact that they don't actually hear what you say. They hear the script. So here's a real life example. Okay, I'm very poor. I asked my dad for a little financial help, and I said, Dad, instead of sending $20 6 times in a row, you could send, $100 once, and I could buy the same stuff and same amount of stuff for $20 less. My point being that you get your money is spent better when it's not on just a single unit. I don't know if that makes sense, but my dad couldn't even approach that topic, even though it's totally logical. And I was coming from the perspective of, I don't want him spending more money on me than he has to, and he doesn't have to, but I don't want him spending more money on me than would otherwise be necessary. And that's what's happening. He, sends $20, and then that's spent on, a quarter tank of gas and one day's dinner, whereas $100 could be spent on a full tank of gas and 5 days dinner, and it's $20 less. So, but he couldn't approach that. He knows that's true. He knows that you get more value buying in bulk, but he argued against it because of who he was talking to. That's what happens. You are a program seen by others, and your program interacts with other programs in a unique way. And the conversation that they have with you about a subject, they will not have with anybody else the same exact way, because of the fact that the conversation is based on the programs, each of your programs linking together. So he sees me as irresponsible, immature, and blah, 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 blah. So automatically, anything that I say is from that perspective to him. So even if I have an objectively good idea, which I have a few of, I'm not stupid, I'm just irresponsible. It is treated as though it's wrong. And he will argue against a good idea because it's me, and because that which I say must be wrong. Okay? So he's not actually, he might be speaking about and around the topic, but he's not. He's not arguing his point. He's arguing against me. And that's it sounds petty, but it's a really important distinction to make, and it, I think, is the reason for so much discord in society, is because you can say something to somebody, but they're not going to even approach the topic objectively. What they're going to do is they are going to color that topic with how they see you, and then they will argue against that. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it does, but that is the simulation part of it, right? Because it's not arguing reality. It's arguing perception of reality, and that's a simulation. Your perception of reality is essentially a simulation of reality, because you never touch anything, you never see anything directly. It's all filtered through senses and through your brain by way of nerve pathways and all of that magic. So how do we move beyond that then? Well, I think the answer is move past it. Find a way through or around or over. And I urge everybody to check out Puscifer's new album, Normal Isn't, and particularly the track Impetuous, with a capital U, Impetuous, because it describes kind of where we are, and it has a good point. Don't lead something or follow. Don't lead, move, or follow. Let's just, I don't know, listen to it. But it's saying that the only way you can win this is by not playing. Because they won't believe you until it's far too late. That's from another one of his songs. They won't believe you until it's far too late. And that's it. How much energy have we expended trying to convince people of truth, only to have those people turn around and mock us? Only to have them stab us in the back and call us grandma killers. How many times? They don't want to know. They are in their reality. See, a mistake we make is assuming that that which we see and interact with is the same that everybody else sees and interacts with. That might not be true, right? You can't prove that my blue is the same as your blue. I might see blue as red. Sure, you can test objectively the wavelengths, but you can't test the perception of those wavelengths. And just because my eyes see blue as the way I see blue is no way to describe it other than by using the word blue. So you could see blue in a completely different way. It's a lot like the twirling ballerina illusion. She's twirling in one direction, but it's just a shadow. It's just her silhouette. And your brain can see her twirl in either direction. What's subjective? What's subjective is that there's a shape moving. That's it. It's not twirling. It's contorting. I see that kind of like a three-dimensional being trying to understand something in 4 dimensions. I believe that a 4th dimensional being could, I don't know. I had a thought, but it's gone. Looks like I am out of space on my phone, so before I totally run out, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a shout out. Have a good one.